Epithelial tissue. Generally, animals are said to be made up of these four basic types of tissues: epithelial, connective, muscular, and nervous. All of these tissues are found in our body, but epithelial tissue covers the whole surface of the body. It also forms the outer as well as the inner covering for most of our internal organs. Characteristic features of epithelial tissues. The tissue provides a covering to our body by forming upper layer of the skin. It also forms covering of our internal organs, means it lines the cavities formed by the internal organ. Primarily, this tissue serves as a protective covering on body surfaces. The cells of epithelial tissue lie on a sticky membrane known as basement membrane. The basement membrane provides structural support for the epithelium and also binds it to neighboring structures. The epithelial cells lack blood vessels, but they get food and oxygen through basement membrane. The cells remain closely packed. The edge of the epithelial tissue that faces the lumen or the outside is called the apical surface. The cells of epithelial tissue are arranged in one or more layers. Epithelial tissue that occurs on the surfaces on the interior of the body is known as endothelium. Actually, epithelium is the name given to the cells that line a surface. The epithelium keeps on dividing to replace itself by the division of the basal layer of the cells. Histological studies of this tissue shows that epithelium can be classified on the basis of two criteria: the number of cell layers present and the shape of the cells on the top layer. On the basis of the number of cell layers present, this tissue is of two types: simple versus stratified epithelium. If an epithelial sheet is composed of one and only one layer, it is a simple epithelium. If there is more than one layer, then it is known as stratified epithelium. Types of epithelial cells. Generally, one of the three different shapes constitutes this tissue. These shapes can be either squamous, cuboidal, or columnar. Squamous cells are thin and flat with flattened nucleus. The cells whose dimensions are more or less equal in all directions, giving a cube-like shape, are identified as cuboidal cells. These cells have round nucleus in the center of the cell. Third shape can be of column type, where the cells are taller than they are wide. These cells have oval nucleus close to the base of the cell. Epithelial tissue is of several types based on the shape of cells and their arrangement. Squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, columnar epithelium, and glandular epithelium are the main types of epithelial tissues. These types are further of various categories based on the number of layers in which the cells are arranged. Simple squamous epithelial tissue consists of single layer of thin and flat cells. Such arrangement allows them to have a large surface area. The shape of the nucleus also corresponds to the shape of the cells, and elliptical nuclei are present. They form the lining of the internal organs, the lining of blood vessels, alveoli of the lungs, inner lining of the mouth, and inner lining of the esophagus. All are covered by simple squamous epithelium. Functions of epithelial tissue. Protection. Epithelial cells present as outer skin protect underlying tissue from mechanical injury, harmful chemicals, invading bacteria, and from excessive loss of water. Sensation. Sensory stimuli penetrate specialized epithelial cells. Specialized epithelial tissue containing sensory nerve endings is found in the skin, which helps us to sense different kinds of stimuli. Secretion. In glands, epithelial tissue is specialized to secrete specific chemical substances such as enzymes, hormones, and lubricating fluids. Absorption. Certain epithelial cells lining the small intestine absorb nutrients from the digested food. Excretion. Sweat is also excreted from the body by epithelial cells in the sweat glands. Diffusion. Simple epithelium promotes the diffusion of gases because they form a thin lining which is ideal for the diffusion of gases. Simple squamous epithelium. Due to their simple and thin construction, they allow for easy transmembrane movement of small molecules. Simple squamous epithelium lines up the alveoli in the lungs and thus making exchange of gases possible. Oxygen and carbon dioxide diffuse freely across the simple squamous epithelial cells according to concentration gradients. There are other organs also where simple squamous epithelium is found. Rapid diffusion or filtration of blood takes place in the glomerulus present in the Bowman's capsules, filtering units of kidney. Wall of glomerulus is made up of simple squamous epithelium, thus making this blood filtration possible. Simple cuboidal epithelium. The term cuboidal conveys that the cells are equally wide as they are tall, creating a square profile with a spherical nucleus at its center. Simple cuboidal cells are classified as simple since they consist of only a single layer of cells. Simple cuboidal epithelium lines the surface of urinary tubules in the kidney, salivary ducts, and provides a covering to the ovary. Simple cuboidal epithelium lines the walls of the respiratory bronchiole also. Simple columnar epithelium. Cells present in simple columnar epithelium are longer than they are wide. The cells are elongated and column-shaped. The nuclei are elongated and are usually located near the base of the cells. Columnar epithelium forms the lining of the stomach and intestines. Some columnar cells are specialized for sensory reception, such as in the nose, ears, and the taste buds of the tongue. There are certain organs in our body where columnar epithelium is lined by very fine cilia and thus known as ciliated columnar epithelial cells. They are found mainly in the tracheal and bronchial regions of the pulmonary system and also in the fallopian tubes of the female reproductive system. In some locations, epithelial cells are not placed in a uniform pattern. They usually contain more than one type of cells. Glandular epithelium. When columnar epithelial sheet does not contain all cells of the same type but has some goblet cells too, it is known as glandular epithelium. Goblet cells appear as large clear spaces present among the columnar absorptive cells. The cup shape of goblet cells is filled with mucus droplets that are released into the lumen of the tract. Goblet cells are actually unicellular exocrine glands. Examples include sebaceous glands of the skin and glands in the intestinal lining, and many endocrine glands releasing hormones such as thyroid follicle. Let us revise the epithelial tissue. This tissue exists all over the body, covers surfaces, lines cavities, and even forms glands. The epithelial cells set on a thin, non-cellular, gelatinous basement membrane. The epithelial cells lack blood vessels, but they get food and oxygen through basement membrane. It consists of compactly arranged cells which are arranged in one or more layers. The tissue has capacity to get replaced by showing division of the basal layer of cells. Generally, they are classified in 4 categories based on the shape and type of the cells.